Good afternoon. Welcome to our live session. Today we are honored to have Frank Chester, prominent artist and sculptor and researcher. He has dedicated some quite time in studying the human heart and its connection to sacred geometry. Frank is known also for his research on this chestahedron, which is a geometric form of the heart. And this helps us understand the relationship between geometry and the functioning of the heart. We will get into a few questions that a lot of people might have to Frank Chester. If you missed the first session, you can go over that first video, but whoever followed us also can ask those questions. Bienvenidos a nuestro en vivo. Hoy tenemos el honor de contar con Frank Chester, un destacado artista, escultor y científico, no es científico, pero dentro de la ciencia de la geometría sí, dedicado su vida al estudio del corazón humano, su relación con la geometría sagrada. Es conocido por su investigación sobre el chestahedron, que es la forma geométrica verdadera del corazón. Y esto nos ha ayudado a explorar y comprender la conexión entre la geometría y el funcionamiento del corazón. En esta charla profundizaremos en cómo estas ideas pueden influir en nuestra comprensión de la salud, la espiritualidad. Así que quédense con nosotros para una conversación fascinante. Good afternoon, Frank. How are you doing today?
Oh, fine. Thank you. How about you?
I'm doing great, and I'm very honored to have you again. It's really an honor to keep on you sharing this valuable information to us. And also today, the purpose of this meeting is to answer any questions that the audience might have. But I'm going to start with a question. Frank, ¿puedes contarnos cómo comenzó el interés en la geometría sagrada y el corazón humano? Frank, can you tell us how your interest in sacred geometry and the human heart began?
Yeah, I'd be glad to. I took a course in Platonic forms.
Sí,
And
tomó un curso
there are two
de
of
formas
them,
platónicas.
a cube and octahedron. And when I took the course, this one has 6 faces and 8 vertices, and this one has 8 vertices and 6 faces.
Okay,
So,
which one has 8 vertices? Okay, entonces se dice que tiene 8 vértices.
so this had 6, and this had 8.
Okay, y el otro tiene 6 vértices. Vórtices.
So this is the one I wanted to know about, is the number 7.
Entonces él quería encontrar el que tenga el número 7. 7 vórtices.
I was told there isn't one.
Y le dijeron que no existe uno.
So both of these have 12 edges.
Y los dos tienen 12 esquinas.
So I wanted a form that had 12 edges, 7 points, and 7 faces.
Okay, 7 puntas, 7 caras, and how many vortices?
All right, so all the forms, okay, fit in each other. In other words, this one will go in there, and all the Platonic forms will go into the cube.
Okay, todas las formas platónicas entrarían en el cubo.
So I knew I was going to have to put something also in the cube. So I knew that all the Platonic forms have the same length edges.
Okay, y supo que todas las formas platónicas tenían las mismas esquinas.
They're different sizes, but all of them are the same.
Son de diferente tamaño, pero todas son las mismas.
I found the chestahedron. Okay.
Encontré el chestahedron.
And what I found was that I had to have two different lengths of edges.
Oh, entonces se dio cuenta que tenía que tener dos diferentes largos.
So it's not a Platonic form
Entonces no es una forma platónica,
because it has two different lengths.
porque tiene dos diferentes tamaños de altura.
And here it is. This is the tetrahedron.
Y aquí está, este es el chestahedron.
So you always have a basic number or length, always.
Siempre tienes una altura básica.
So this is all the red lines are 1,
Todas las líneas rojas es 1,
and all the red lines are also 1, but different length, but also 1.
pero diferentes largos.
So I used the first one here off the cube.
Entonces utilicé el 1 del cubo.
It's the same length as the cube,
Y es el mismo largo del cubo.
but not that one.
Ujú.
You can see that the cube length in a red line is too short because it goes all the way down here, doesn't it?
No,
You can see that this longer one here is not the same size as the shorter one.
entonces ven que esa no entra ahí, la otra parte es más corta.
So I'm going to show you how this is made so you can make it yourself.
Ah, entonces nos va a enseñar cómo hacerlo para que ustedes en el lugar donde se encuentren, ustedes hagan la figura geométrica.
So the first thing you have to do is you have to draw a line
Entonces lo primero que tienen que hacer es dibujar una línea,
like this, horizontal line. You see it?
yeah, what would be the length of the line?
I can make it darker. You want
No,
me
what
to
would be the length of the line? How many inches?
make it darker?
No,
Or-
how many inches?
That's okay.
Okay,
All right. So what I did is that you make a line and you set a compass to any size you want, any size.
okay.
But I set mine to the cube.
Entonces le hizo cogió
Yeah.
ok, del largo del cubo.
Also same size as this, see?
Ujú, del mismo tamaño del cubo como nos muestra.
See that? Same size. Okay.
Ujú.
So on that line, I made the distance of the compass.
Entonces hizo la distancia del compás
Also the size of the cube.
y también el tamaño del cubo.
And then what I did was I bisected this line. That means I cut it in half.
Entonces luego lo que hizo es cortarle esa línea en la mitad.
So, you know, when you bisect the line, it's like that. Right?
Ujú.
And, you know, that gives you the perfect right angle. Okay. So now I'm going to bisect that angle.
Entonces ahora va a cortar en la mitad del ángulo.
So I line it up where it crossed so I can bisect it. So are you following me?
Yes, we are following you.
So you have a red line and a black line.
Entonces tienen una línea roja y una línea negra.
And the red line is the cube.
Y la línea roja es el tamaño del cubo.
Yeah.
Okay, yes,
I'm
I
sorry.
see it.
Okay. So I'm going to darken in the line I started with, which was this one. Remember how I started that?
Sí,
Okay.
esa es la línea con la que empezó.
I'm going to darken it in. And then I'll show you what I got.
Y ahora nos va a enseñar lo que va a obtener.
So what I have are two lines,
Y ahora tiene dos líneas
and one is the cube.
y una es el cubo.
Okay. What's the other one? Well, the other one this will make it easier because I can show you exactly what I did. See how it's the two, see,
Y así nos enseña cómo exactamente
there's the two,
logró.
right? So if I take this one,
Entonces, si tomo esta,
it's the length of the cube.
es el largo del cubo.
And the other line, the red line,
Y la otra línea roja
is the other dimension.
es la otra dimensión.
Look,
I see that.
so I made the red one.
Pues
You can
hice una
see
línea
really good.
roja
And that red line
y esa línea
goes
roja.
on the tetrahedron. So there's different ways to show you that what I'm doing is accurate.
Entonces hay diferentes maneras de enseñarte que lo que estoy haciendo es preciso.
There's a red line,
Ahí está la línea roja.
and here's the other line,
Y ahí está la otra línea.
and greens. And I'll put that on here. Now you can see the red and the green are the length. There are two different lengths. The red and the green are different lengths, but they're exactly right. And the way I did it was this. Remember how I did this?
Yes.
Remember how I did this one?
Yes.
All right, so there's the red line and the other shorter one.
Entonces ahí está la línea roja más pequeña.
Now that's pretty cool.
Yes.
So now you know the sizes of the edges of
Y
a
ahora sabes los
tetrahedron.
tamaños de las esquinas.
There's 9 red ones and 3 green ones.
Hay 9 rojas y 3 verdes.
And there's your 12. I got my 12.
Y ahí están las 12.
See, there's 12 edges,
12 esquinas.
12 edges.
Ujú.
This has 12 edges too, but
Y
they're different lengths.
12 esquinas, pero de diferentes largos.
Now, if I draw a circle, and this is the radius, You put the compass,
Ahora si dibujo un círculo, este es el radio
and this is called the diameter.
y esto se llama el diámetro.
So we're going to try to find out, where did these two lengths come from?
Y sí, para encontrar de dónde vienen estos dos largos
So here's where they come from.
y vienen de,
You recognize what that is? That's known as the Vesica Piscis.
ya, y esa es la Vesica Piscis.
The most oldest ancient reverend geometry ever in the history of man.
Es
This
la
hap-
geometría sagrada más antigua en la historia de la humanidad.
The flower of life.
Y de ahí
Came
nace
from the vesicas,
Ujú.
the tree of life,
Y el árbol de la vida también.
the fruit of life.
Wow, that is beautiful. Did you draw that yourself?
What was that?
Did you draw that?
Yes.
Wow, that is so beautiful.
And also it's the tree of life. They're all made from the vesica. So what that means is that the human heart has the geometry of the ancient time, but it's in 3 dimensions.
Entonces tiene la geometría de la antigüedad, pero ahora en 3 dimensiones.
This is the first time that the vesica has been put into a form in the history of the world.
Entonces, esta es la primera vez que la Vesica Piscis por primera vez está puesta en otra forma.
It's always been drawn 2-dimensionally.
Y siempre ha sido dibujada en 2 dimensiones.
And you can see here, I have one with the red line.
Y puedes ver que aquí tengo una con la
Red line. That's one side of the tether, and here's the other shorter line. Look,
Y
it
aquí está
comes
la
from the vesica.
más pequeña y está la Vesica. Exactly. Yeah, I see the Vesica Piscis there.
All geometry comes from and started with the vesica.
Todas las geometrías entonces comenzaron con la Vesica Piscis.
That's the length of the vesica,
Ese es el largo de la Vesica.
and then the shorter one. Now this is magic because this is the human heart.
Y esto es mágico porque este es la forma del corazón humano. Oh, I see. That is amazing.
Now here's something that's unbelievable.
Y eso es de no creer prácticamente.
If I take this line, this red line,
Si yo tomo esta línea roja
and I put it in a cube, it goes to √3.
y le pongo en el cubo, viene siendo la raíz de 3.
And it goes from corner to corner.
Y va de esquina a esquina. Yeah, I see.
Now the
Yeah.
other one, the other length,
El otro largo.
which is missing, but I can use this as the cube. Okay, so we have √3
Tenemos la raíz de 3
and 1.
y la raíz de 1.
So I continue to draw. It makes a 6-pointed star.
Y si sigo dibujando, hace una estrella de 6 puntas. Oh, wow.
And if
Wow,
I
and
just
that is
twist it-
that's another significant geometry, right?
Absolutely. This is known throughout history as the heart chakra.
Yeah, and that is
This is
known as,
known as the heart chakra.
ha sido conocido como el chakra del corazón.
And so Indian people use that.
Las nativos lo usan
There are 7 chakras.
y hay 7 centros energéticos.
Now, here's another. There's a heart chakra. Yeah, but what it's done is it's made out of. You can see that's the length.
Mm.
Okay, and then we take root 3. We take the diagonal out of here.
Esa es la raíz de 3 y toma la parte
Sí.
diagonal.
That red diagonal crosses 2 of the triangles. So if I put it here and here, can you see how it goes across 2 of those triangles, which makes up the 6?
1, 2, 3. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that's also, it makes up the vesica.
Y eso también hace la vésica. Oh, I see vesica. So vesica Pisces is basically it's in every form.
Unbelievable, the vesica. Now watch. This is that one that comes out of the cube, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I put this in here into this 6-pointed let me get this back here to be right. You can see that what I'm telling is lawful. There's the 6, right? That's this. This is out of the cube. If I put this in here and I move these,
Si pongo eso ahí y muevo eso. Oh, it fits perfectly there too.
and I'm going to pull it out to the end of the red stick,
Entonces ahora le va a poner a esa,
and makes a perfect cube.
a ese palito rojo y va a ser perfectamente un cubo.
Of course, that's the same and a cube.
Wow.
Heart sits in the cube at root 3.
Entonces el corazón se sienta en el cubo en la raíz de 3.
Right out of the research, the doctors say that the heart sits at 36. It sits at from here to here, from corner to corner, which is root 2. Okay. And so from the side, it sits at root 2. And from the front, it sits at root 2.
Ok, del lado se sienta a la raíz de 2.
And the top sits at root 2.
Y la parte de arriba también se sienta a la raíz de 2.
They say that it fits like that. See the heart, it's light color. These are X-rays. And then from the front, it fits at root 2. See that?
De la parte del frente, o sea, lo que vemos ahí adentro son los X-rays de las rayos X del corazón.
And then from the top, it also sits at root 2. But if I eliminate root 2,
Pero si elimino la raíz de 2,
there's a root 2 with the red line, which you know is across the vertices of the tetrahedron. So the whole thing is root 2, although it is root 3.
toda es raíz de 2, pero es en realidad a la raíz de 3.
So if I line up the green and the red, you can see that they line up perfect. There they are.
Wow.
The doctors say
Los doctores dicen
heart sit root at 45 degrees, which is root 2.
que está a 45 grados.
Photographs of the heart.
I don't have an answer for that. Is there something else?
Okay. So I think that I've covered the heart and the chestahedron and why it's so special and how it fits in a key. So I think that I can maybe go to another question.
Yeah, I think that is your discovery about the chestahedron, the geometric form of the heart, has given those answers on how the heart physically function. But more than, how the heart physically functions, also I believe that this discovery has also made some impacts at the emotional and spiritual health of the heart. Because if our language, our original language, is about frequency, when we connect with geometry, we are connecting with that frequency. What has been your experience connecting or meditating on the chestahedron? Le estoy diciendo que si nuestro lenguaje es acerca de frecuencias y nuestra ser reconoce el lenguaje de frecuencias, le estoy preguntando cuál ha sido su experiencia al conectarte con el chestahedron. Have you meditated on the chestahedron?
There again.
Have you meditated with the chestahedron? Like, if geometry is our language, what impact do you think that the chestahedron can have also at the spiritual level?
Okay. I have a series of questions. Is that one of these on here?
Okay, so we covered
Is that number 2 or 3 or what?
number 2. What is the chestahedron, or what's the significance in your research?
Okay. First off, it's a 7-sided form found, never seen before, and it's the first heart geometry ever made. So
Okay.
the significance of the research is big.
Okay, es la primera figura geométrica de 7 lados.
It's the first form ever of the heart.
Es la primera forma del corazón. Yes, it is.
All the doctor researchers have never found a model.
Los investigadores no han encontrado un modelo exacto.
So now how this geometry functions of the heart, I can you read the third question and I'll answer it.
Okay, so le pregunto, ¿cómo se relaciona la geometría y el funcionamiento del corazón en su trabajo? How does geometry and the functioning of the heart relate to in your work?
Okay, because I have the geometry, I now know how the heart moves and works.
Porque ahora tengo la geometría, ahora sé cómo el corazón se mueve y se funciona.
Okay, so I know how it moves.
Ahora sé cómo se mueve.
And it moves exactly like the blood wants it to move.
Y se mueve exactamente como la sangre quiere que se mueva.
So number 4 says, what discoveries have you made in emotional and spiritual health through your study of the heart?
Yeah, what discoveries have you made about emotional and spiritual health through the study of the heart? That is correct. ¿Qué descubrimientos has hecho sobre la salud emocional y espiritual a través de tu estudio del corazón?
Okay, here's something
Aquí hay algo
that's not known.
que no ha sido conocido.
My models show
Mis modelos indican
the heart moves in 6 directions at the same time.
wow, el corazón se mueve en 6 direcciones al mismo tiempo.
three of them in opposite direction of the other three.
Entonces los tres lados se mueven en opuestos
At the same time.
al mismo tiempo.
So it's moving forward and backwards at the same time.
Se mueve hacia adelante y hacia atrás, pero al mismo tiempo.
It's expanding and contracting at the same time.
Está expandiendo y está contrayendo al mismo tiempo.
It's turning left and turning right at the same time.
Y se mueve a la derecha y a la izquierda al mismo tiempo.
So the heart is the center of balance in the third dimensional world.
Entonces el corazón es el centro del balance en el centro del balance.
So how does the heart actually, how can it do that?
¿Y cómo puede el corazón hacer eso?
So I made a model that moves, and I will show you how it turns right and left at the same time.
Entonces ha hecho un modelo para indicarnos cómo se mueve así al mismo tiempo.
This is the top of the heart. This is the aorta valve.
Esta es la parte de arriba, partes de la superficie del corazón.
The sides go down and then go to a point. The chestahedron, the
Entonces
point.
ahí podemos ver la punta del chestahedro.
Now the inside,
Ahora la parte de adentro
the inside is this green circle.
hay un círculo verde, como pueden ver.
And that goes straight down and touches the end apex of the heart right there.
Y topa el apex del corazón.
Then the green goes up to the top, and then there's a yellow, and that's the mitral valve.
Entonces ahí topa la microválvula.
And that's the atrium. That's the atrium. That's the aorta valve.
Y esa es la aorta, la válvula de aorta.
The blood comes in through the
La
yellow
sangre entra
and moves out in the red.
y se mueve hacia afuera en la parte, como vemos la parte roja de lo que nos está indicando.
And now you're going to see this one and this one move. You see these little guys right here? Okay.
Ujú.
They move in this direction. At the same time, these red ones move in the opposite.
Entonces el uno se mueve a una dirección, los otros en la dirección opuesta.
How can that be?
¿Cómo es
Amazing.
posible? Ujú. Entonces ahí nos está demostrando con esta.
So if you take a rag, which I showed before, and you twist it, this is what the blood does, is it vortexes. Okay, it comes in clockwise.
Entonces entra a la dirección de las manecillas del reloj hacia la derecha.
See, this is a clockwise movement, see it?
Yes.
All right. On the other end, it moves in the opposite direction.
Y
It
la otra
in
punta
this direction.
se mueve a dirección opuesta.
This is happening at the same time.
Y esto está pasando al mismo tiempo. Y eso está pasando en el corazón.
And that's because it turns at the bottom of the heart. It turns and goes up. So blood runs in, blood comes out. mitral, the aorta,
Esas serían las aortas
first, at the same time.
al mismo tiempo. Wow.
So what you're looking at here is that to keep the heart healthy,
Para tener un corazón saludable,
you have to exercise
tienes que hacer ejercicio
to be able to look at polarities at the same time.
para poder ver las polaridades y poder ver las polaridades al mismo tiempo.
And not get stuck with one or the other.
Y no estar estancados ni en la una manera ni en la otra manera de ver, por ejemplo, las cosas.
I don't know what happened. There we go. So imagine this is that most things going on today,
Muchas de las cosas que están pasando ahora,
there's an awful lot of heart failures.
sí, hay muchas condiciones de donde el corazón falla.
And that's because we have concentrated too much on polarity,
Porque nos hemos concentrado demasiado en la polaridad,
not looked at the left, but looked at the right.
no mires al lado izquierdo, pero mira al lado derecho.
So we're concentrating on the right and ignoring the left.
Entonces estamos concentrados en el lado derecho, ignorando el lado izquierdo.
This makes the heart unhealthy.
Esto hace que el corazón no sea saludable.
So you have to look at both of the opposites at the same time, just like the heart does.
Entonces tienes que ver las dos partes opuestas al mismo tiempo, así como el corazón nos está invitando.
And this isn't being done today, but we have tremendous amount of heart failure.
Y por eso el corazón, ahora hay muchas condiciones del corazón.
Now also moves forward and backwards,
Y también se mueve hacia adelante y hacia atrás,
right to left,
hacia la derecha, hacia la izquierda,
below to above.
hacia abajo y hacia arriba.
These all 6 directions have to happen at the same time to keep the heart healthy.
Y entonces estas 6 direcciones tienen que moverse al mismo tiempo para tener un corazón saludable.
So we have to find examples of polarities that we can exercise with.
Entonces podemos encontrar ejemplos de polaridad para ejercitarnos.
So this is one of the biggest things that we can do that's new to the heart that hasn't been done before.
Y esto es una de las cosas bien nuevas que podemos hacer ahora con el corazón que no se ha hecho antes.
Okay, the next thing we have to do is for the heart is we have to follow lawfulness.
Seguir las leyes.
When we are faced with a fact,
Cuando encontramos los hechos,
lots of times we'll come up with a conclusion.
muchas veces podemos llegar a una conclusión
Or an idea,
o una idea
or a view.
o una manera de ver las cosas.
These are not facts.
Estos no son hechos.
We have to make sure that we don't distort the facts.
Tenemos que estar seguros que no vamos a distorsionar los hechos.
And this, if we can do, helps the heart.
Y si podemos hacer esto, vamos a ayudar al corazón.
So the heart has to be kept in balance, both physically and spiritually.
Entonces el corazón tiene que estar en balance, tanto a nivel espiritual como también a nivel físico.
We have to know that we are spiritual, but at the same time we're physical.
Entonces tenemos que estar conscientes de que somos espirituales, pero también somos seres físicos.
Heaven and earth, these are opposites.
Cielo y tierra son opuestos.
So whatever we can do this for the heart the healthier all our organs will be.
Y entonces, si practicamos esto, mientras más practicamos, más saludable estará nuestro corazón, y no solamente nuestro corazón, pero también nuestros órganos.
The heart supplies the organs with blood.
El corazón suplementa al organismo con sangre a los órganos.
And each of the organs have a blood supply that they need.
Y cada uno de los órganos requieren un suplemento de sangre, flujo de sangre.
If we concentrate on one side only,
Si concentramos solamente en un solo lado,
this affects the organs.
esto definitivamente afecta a los órganos.
So the organ will work overtime to get enough blood for itself.
Entonces los órganos pueden estar trabajando mucho
Because it's out of balance and requiring too much blood.
porque están requiriendo de mucha sangre.
And at the same time, other organs are getting less blood.
Y al mismo tiempo, entonces otros órganos como consecuencia estarán recibiendo menos flujo de sangre.
And this is the balance that we're looking at in the heart.
Y este es el balance que estamos buscando en el corazón.
So the blood, okay, has designed the heart.
Entonces la sangre ha diseñado al corazón.
Because the blood in the embryo
Porque la sangre en el embrión
circulates in pulses for
circula en
21 days. I'll repeat it. The blood in the embryo pulsates and moves in a circulation
en la sangre del embrión pulsa en circulación
for 21 days without a heart.
por 21 días sin un corazón.
And then the heart takes the blood
Y de ahí el corazón toma la sangre
and starts to circulate along with the way the blood wants to circulate.
y entonces así va a circular la manera en que la sangre quiere que circule.
So taking care of the heart means taking care of the blood.
Entonces, tener cuidado del corazón es también tener cuidado de tu sangre.
All right, Elizabeth, is there anybody that has any questions about what I've talked about?
Okay, let me see if we have questions here. So we do have Nora. Nora is asking if the flower of life would be our heart.
That's amazing. That the flower of life, three-dimensionally, is the human heart.
Sí, la flor de la vida a nivel de 3 dimensiones es el corazón.
There it is. That's a three-dimensional vesicle flower of life.
Okay. So Marie-Lois says it's very important. This information is very important. We don't have any further questions.
Well, that's okay. I can show you some more things.
Okay.
The last time somebody wanted to know about the earth, because
Yeah.
there's a heart in the earth.
O sea, el corazón está dentro de la tierra. Si alguien más tiene alguna pregunta, if somebody else has any questions, feel free to ask these questions.
Do we have an interest in that?
Let me ask. Déjenme saber si quieren saber acerca de la relación del corazón con la tierra. ¿Les gustaría saber eso? Okay, Mercedes says yes, she's interested.
Okay. So one thing about the chestahedron is it has two triangles, one at the bottom, one at the top, and they are not equal.
Okay, entonces dice que tiene dos triángulos, uno arriba, uno y hacia abajo, pero no son iguales.
But if I move the top one down,
Pero si muevo el de arriba hacia abajo
and I move the bottom one up,
y muevo el de abajo hacia arriba,
and where they meet,
donde
bang,
se encuentran,
it makes a six-pointed star.
se crea una estrella de 6 puntas.
Can you see the six-pointed star?
¿Sí pueden ver esa estrella de 6 puntas?
One is red, one is blue.
El uno es rojo y el otro es azul.
It's a hexagram in the middle of the heart.
Es un hexagrama dentro de la mitad del corazón.
Now, one of the puzzles about this is that I wanted that hexagram in the middle.
Una de las rompecabezas era que quería ese hexagrama en la mitad
It's not in the middle.
y no está en la mitad.
This is much higher from the star
Esto está más alto
than the bottom.
que la parte de abajo.
Here's how high it is from the bottom.
Así es como está de alto
See,
acá.
that doesn't go up to the top, does it?
No.
Listen, this bothered me for over a year.
Y esto me molestó porque quería saber la respuesta por algún tiempo.
And I wanted to know what I
Y
could
que-
do about it. And there wasn't anything I could do.
y no había nada que pueda hacer.
If I tried to move it up where I wanted it, it wouldn't be a six-pointed star anymore. So, so I decided to take the flower of life
Entonces decidí tomar la flor de la vida
and take the center out.
y tomar al centro fuera.
And then I put it over the chestahedron.
Y le puse sobre el chestahedron.
And now the chestahedron has a star,
Ahora el chestahedron tiene
middle.
una estrella
the flower of life. Here,
en la flor de la vida. Wow, it fits perfectly, huh?
that's perfect.
Wow, perfect.
Now, the problem is that it's still not in the middle. You can see that that disc, okay, is from the tip to the disc is different from the bottom to the disc.
Ujú, entonces no está realmente en el centro.
So I decided to put the chestahedron in a cube. I'm sorry, in a sphere. So I found a globe that would fit. Now it fits the top, and it goes around this globe to go from the chestahedron, where the star is, or where the tree of life is, or the fruit of life is, from that circle to the top, it's fine, fine. But what about the bottom? The bottom's bigger, different. Now I'll show you here where the earth goes around is this circle. And look how it lines up with the flower of life. Look. Remember, that's the size of this. That's where this fits. Okay.
Pues ahí es donde entra el círculo.
Look. See where it fits all of those flowered lives?
Ujú.
Vesicas? All right. So, this is what's amazing.
Eso es increíble.
If I turn it the other half and put it in, it's perfect in the middle.
Está perfectamente.
Points touch at the bottom. Look. That's why those 4 points are shorter because
Por eso
they.
esas 4 puntas son más cortas.
So I have the whole thing here. I'll move the camera so you can see. Oh, you can kind of see.
Yes, I can see it. ¿Alguien más tiene alguna otra pregunta?
Look at that. Now the circle
Ahora el círculo
fits the Chesterton, and I didn't have to move anything because of the middle of where it is, that the top was higher than the bottom is perfect. So all that fretting I did, I didn't have to. Now, what about the rest of the flower of life?
y ahora entonces, ¿qué pasa con el resto de la flor de la vida?
So we have this circle, which makes
Sorry, but
a
I'm
sphere.
thirsty.
See this circle? It makes a sphere.
Y esto hace la esfera.
I put it back in.
Lo pongo de regreso.
The outside of the flower of life is the cube.
La parte de afuera de la flor de la vida es un cubo.
So the first thing is we have a cube, then we have a sphere, and then we have the chest.
Cubo, una esfera.
So here's a little model I made that shows
Aquí hay un modelo que hice.
the Chesterton in the sphere. And it doesn't rattle around. See, the Chesterton comes from a pentagram.
Entonces el chestahidra viene de un pentagrama.
So what you have to do is to cut and turn it in to make 4.
Entonces tienes que cortar y hacerle.
See how I did that? That's 4. Here's 5, completely flat. Now it's 4, but kind of high. Okay, so we reduce it to 3 because that's what the Chesterton had. And now
Le reducimos a 3 y ahora
the pentagram can be set on the ground and it's perfect equilateral triangles and kites. There it is, here all together. There's,
oh, I see.
Isn't that fantastic? That comes from a 5-pointed star.
So
Look.
entonces nos está enseñando, wow, que el chestahidro viene de una estrella de 5 puntas. Wow.
There they are, all together. See? Look at. Now watch.
Ahora fíjense,
The 5-pointed star.
es una punta de 5. Es una estrella de 5 puntas.
Here's the 5-pointed star. Here's the 5-pointed star. 3 of them. 3 kites.
3 en forma
Chesterton
de
opened up.
tormentas.
There's your Chesterton.
Y ahí está el chestahidro. Wow.
Your heart. So here's the tetrahedron.
Entonces aquí está el
Inside.
tetrahedro.
This shows the inside of the chamber.
Y,
Blood
y
takes that form.
entonces esa es la parte de adentro de la cámara del corazón.
There's the same one, but this has got the aorta. So it shows that
Pero
the
este
blood
tiene la
goes in.
aorta. So that's the inside of the heart, right?
Yes.
Entonces, si
Okay.
pueden mirar que es la parte de adentro del corazón.
So here's the tetrahedron. I'll put on a drill.
Entonces ahora pongo un tetrahedro.
And you see the circle that's being threaded in the middle?
Si ven el círculo que está en la mitad,
That's exactly the size of the real heart.
y ese es el tamaño de
And
de
the
un
circle.
corazón. Ahí está el círculo cuando le da la vuelta.
So the triangle is the outside of the heart, and the inside of the heart you can't see unless you spin it.
Entonces la parte de adentro del corazón no lo pueden ver hasta que ustedes le den la vuelta. Entonces, si se fijan que ahí está el círculo, no lo pueden ver hasta que le den la vuelta.
This is the heart chakra.
Y ese es el centro energético del corazón.
So it's two tetrahedrons, which make those triangles, makes a hexagram. And all the way around the circle of the chakra are 12 petals.
Son 12 pétalos, sí. 12 petals.
Tetrahedron has 12 edges.
Oh, wow. Entonces el tetrahedron tiene 12.
That's right. Remember how I said this had 12 edges?
Yes.
And how the cube has 12 edges?
Y como el cubo también tiene 12 esquinas.
And the middle of the tetrahedron is a hexagram,
Y en la mitad de la tetrahedron es un hexagrama.
which is developed from root 3
Que fue desarrollado desde la raíz de 3.
to a cube that fits into a cube. This way it looks like it's 45. This way it looks like it's 45. And this way it looks like it's 45. But it's not, it's root 2. So here's the tetrahedron, edges only with the inside. There's the inside architecture. And I can show you how I moved it.
Let me see.
I guess it's kind of frozen up. There it is. See how it moves? Look. So geometry can move. And that's
Entonces,
what
la
I've
geometría
studied.
se puede mover. Yeah.
And here's the two triangles. The one on the bottom is big. The one on the top is small. And you bring them together, there's a hexagram. See the hexagram in the middle?
Triángulos del de abajo más grande que el de arriba y entonces ahí obtenemos el hexagrama.
And I'm seeing in 3 minutes, my time is up.
Wow. That's amazing.
And this is how the tetrahedron is made in a net. So if you can see how it's made from the circles, you can see the vesicas. This is all made. You can cut this out and fold it together. It's a tetrahedron. And this is in the back of the book.
Yes, it's in the back of the book.
You could take a photograph of it, Elizabeth, and then you could send it out to all your people, and
Is it this part?
they can make it.
Yeah.
Just send it, make a copy, and send the print out.
Ok, entonces lo que me dice que lo que voy a hacer es ver cómo saco este dibujo, que es como el patrón del tetrahedron y ustedes lo pueden diseñar. Eso está en el libro de él que se llama La Nueva Geometría Sagrada, Arte y Ciencia. Y entonces yo voy a ver cómo lo saco una copia y me está dando permiso para que ustedes lo puedan imprimir. I'm telling them that you're giving me permission to see if I can download this and then, upload it on my Facebook so they can also print it out and make them themselves. Wow. And it's not easy to do it because I tried to do it and tried to cut, but I couldn't make it.
Just remember, your human heart opens up into the vesica.
Entonces el corazón se
This
abra
is the
hacia
most
la
famous form there is. It's called the vesica of Pisces, which is the fish bladder. It's also, they put all of the spiritual beings in here, Buddha, Christ, Muhammad, all of them are always put in there because this is the symbol of balance. And that's the center of the human heart. You understand that the balance, the most balanced geometry in the history of mankind, okay, is the construction of the human heart. And you have to remember that when the human being first entered, okay, they didn't know how to talk and they didn't know mathematics. All they knew is a stick that they could draw something in the sand.
Mhm.
And the first thing they drew was a circle. Then they moved that circle out to the edge of the other one, and there was the birth of the vesica. And that was the first birth of any geometry of significance, was the vesica. And
Okay.
it's still today extremely important. Look on the internet, look on YouTube, you see vesica all over it.
Ya. Entonces él está diciendo que la primera figura geométrica fue la vesica Piscis porque el ser humano no tenía lenguaje y tampoco tenía la matemática. Entonces lo que hacía es tomar un palito y hacer dibujos y que la primera figura que el ser humano hizo fue el círculo y de ahí vino la vesica Piscis. Let me see if I have some questions here. Somebody is asking about how the pyramids in Egypt are made of, she said, a triangle up and a triangle on the top and the bottom. I think that question is not
The
well
heart
formulated.
sits at 30, root 3. See how it sits in the body?
Mhm. Okay, let me see what else. Okay, so may I ask you, and I think this will be the last question because believe it or not, we already 1 hour and we just went over half of the material that we wanted to go over. So what is the most important message you want to convey to people about the connection between the heart and geometry? ¿Cuál es el mensaje más importante que deseas transmitir a las personas sobre la conexión entre el corazón y la geometría?
You know, the most important thing, okay,
Lo más
is
importante
this. This is the most important, that you can take two circles
que
and
puede
make a shape
los
that's
círculos.
basic on the heart.
Entonces nos está mostrando cómo la vésica una vez más está dentro del corazón. Cómo coinciden todas las mediciones de la vésica. Entonces, al tener relación con el chestahedron, la vésica, nos llama realmente a ese balance, ¿no? A no estarnos concentrando en las dualidades, ¿no? Muchas veces estamos concentrados en la solución A o la solución B cuando realmente debemos integrar. Entonces ahí nos está mostrando cómo cabe todas las mediciones de la vésica Piscis en el chestahedron. Entonces me encanta porque todo esto es visual. Y todo el material que él nos está enseñando ha sido hecho con un compás, un lápiz y una regla. No ha utilizado nada más.
You're seeing the third dimension being created from the vesica, and the closest anybody's ever come was the Chinese, because they put the vesica all around a sphere. But nobody has ever had this form, which is based on the vesica, which is the geometry of the human heart.
Entonces,
There it is in its organic shape.
nadie ha hecho una figura geométrica de tercera dimensión basada en una geometría de dos dimensiones.
There's the kite, and there's the triangle.
Entonces ahí está el
That's the
triángulo.
left ventricle of your human heart. Nobody asked me where the red one, where the right ventricle is.
Nadie me ha
I
preguntado
have
de
it here to show you,
la ventrícula derecha.
but it's based on the vesica again.
Está hecha otra vez, una vez más de la vésica.
This is the right ventricle. This is the left ventricle.
Esta es la ventrícula derecha y la ventrícula izquierda.
And you notice these are the two circles.
Oh, that's a vesica.
See this? Yes. You see the vesica, though? You see the vesica is right here. Look. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's very significant because having the root 3 and it's an irrational number, and an irrational number has no end. So that means that in our heart we have those infinite possibilities of solutions, because our duality wants to get a solution or find a solution for a situation, either solution A or solution B. What about if we integrate those solutions and we integrate it inside of us? So our emotions also will be in balance.
Yes. This is root 3. Okay. This brings in the third dimension. The other one, which is root 2, is still in planes. It's still flat. Okay. But this one is three-dimensional. This brings in the world. This brings in all of the Platonic forms. And this is called formative forces, root 3. And the reason it is because it goes into a cube from edge to edge. So that the one that's here in yellow, which is root 2, is a surface. This is internal, which is 3-dimension.
Entonces vemos como esa raíz de 3 entra perfectamente una vez más dentro del cubo.
This is both the second and the transformation into the third, right here. Can you believe this? I mean, how did this happen to me? You know how many thousands, hundreds of thousands people, years have gone by and this has never been around. And look how simple it is.
Dice que esto no ha estado descubierto hasta que él lo descubre, ¿no? Porque él empezó buscando esa figura de 7 lados.
So I thank Elizabeth for inviting me to show you guys what I've found and to encourage you to work on your own to find things too.
I think that, your findings not only has given the answers, how the human heart functions, but behind that physical function, right? The heart is telling us and it's giving us the message very clearly, look into your balance, stop worrying about what is right, what is wrong. There's nothing that is right or wrong right now. Everything is perfect, and every experience should be taken as something that we have to learn. And then when we understand that and we integrate, there will be no more war within us. And the most toxic person to us is our mind. We are the toxic ones because we are worrying about the outside and we're not connecting with our inside. And this has given me a lot of possibilities in therapies also, because I use the sacred geometry, which is another chapter. And I really want to thank you, Mr. Chester, for taking this more than an hour, but I believe that it's not an hour, it's not about time, it's about all that valuable information you're giving to this audience. And I cannot thank you enough, because I think this is gold for me. And I think this is gold for a lot of people also. Thank you so much. Is there any other message that you want to give to the audience to inspire them to look into geometry, to connect with that geometry within?
Geometry is lawful. Geometry is truthful. Geometry doesn't lie. When you have two lines that cross, you can't change it. It's there. So it keeps you very, very alert to lawfulness and to make sure that everything that you see makes sense, because you see these two lines when they cross. You can't make it cross here because it crosses here, not here. This is what's so great about geometry.
Sí, entonces la geometría básicamente es ese conector de la verdad que no miente. La cruz es como es y no miente. Todas las mediciones son perfectas. Entonces la geometría nos invita a resonar con esa perfección de movimiento. Y como vimos, también la geometría también tiene su movimiento. Entonces cuando conectamos con la geometría, estamos conectando con un movimiento. Como terapeuta yo utilizo la geometría, pero toda esta información me da a mí la pauta de que las personas terapeutas que usamos la geometría estamos en lo correcto, y que por eso acelera mucho las terapias. Thank you so much, Frank Chester. Let me see if I have
See these red bands?
Sí.
Okay, those are the bands of the muscles of the heart.
Entonces vamos a ver las bandas de los músculos del corazón.
And what happens is that the blood on the outside goes up the
La
top
sangre de
and
la
goes in
fuera
opposite
arriba
directions. See, these are in opposite directions. Look,
y van en dirección
at the
opuesta
same time.
al mismo tiempo. ¿Sí ven las bandas? Las bandas de esas van hacia adentro.
So what it means is that the inside is spinning clockwise and the
La parte de
outside
adentro
is
está hacia el
counterclockwise
reloj y la otra parte está yendo en oposición hacia el del reloj
at the same time.
al mismo tiempo.
Well, I enjoyed your interview, Elizabeth.
Thank you so much, Frank Chester. I really appreciate it. I have no words to thank you for your valuable time. Thank you so much and hope to see you, next time. We don't know when, because we do have a lot of, not questions, but we do have an audience that's very attentive to all this information. And as I said, this is translated into Spanish because we have all your information, your books, your YouTube in English. And I think that we're moving a nice community here, community to be more conscious in connecting with their heart, connecting with that balance. And I think that's the most important message that I can, through all this learning is inspire people to look to that balance. Stop worrying too much. Stop getting into those extremes that can make you sick. Balance, breathe consciously.
That's
Be
right.
thankful for everything you have. Be thankful. We worry too much about what we don't have, but we have a heart that is inviting us to look into that balance. So you are not only showing us what the heart is about through the geometry, but also what the heart is inviting us spiritually. Thank you so much, Mr. Frank.
And this isn't conjecture. This isn't This isn't a conclusion. This isn't a view. This is a fact. And conclusions are not facts.
Esto es un hecho. This is a fact because the heart's function it's in opposite directions at the same time. So we have to be at our thyroid also is moving in that direction, right? In and out as above as below also.
That's right. You always heard this thing walking on another person's shoes. That
Exactly.
person's off balance, You need to get in his shoes and straighten it out. Go to the other side. Same time.
Yes, and that's the unconditional love. We speak about unconditional love. The unconditional love is the balance.
That's right. That's right. It's a balance. And we're here on the earth experience to be able to develop these abilities that's centered around the heart.
Estamos aquí en este mundo para descubrir estas habilidades del que están en el centro del corazón. Thank you so much, Mr. Frank. Have a great, great evening.
Okay. Bye, Elizabeth.
Bye. Bye. Frank is saying bye. Let me get off here.